What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to another episode of Unlicensed Therapy. Swirl, the Unlicensed Therapist. And I know it's been a minute, but today I want to talk about how we evolve as individuals. And sometimes when we do that, people that's with us, they evolve, they're ever evolving as well. But you might evolve and move and grow away from them. So I think about that because me and my wife were having a conversation with her cousin not too long ago, and we are talking about how we had been together for 25 years, and in those 25 years, we've seen probably 5, 6 different versions of each other. And I thought about that, and that's just not real in like a marriage. It's for real in friendships. And sometimes we don't think about that. You know, we think about, oh, they change and all they this, they that. But no, it's just they've hit a growth spurt. And so with that, you got to think about, like, they're not letting you go because they don't like you, or you're not letting them go because you don't like them. It's just you've grown apart, and that's fine. I think we get into so many situations where, and I've talked about it before, where we're holding on to stuff when we should really let it go. It's anchoring us. I talked about that on the last podcast, the last episode. And I think about, like, because it's comfortable. We hold on to stuff because it's comfortable. But you can't grow if you're comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Growth comes from shredding, breaking through. You think about a seed, how a seed starts small and it just shatters as it's growing. So we got to think about that as individuals, how if we're comfortable, we're not growing. Me personally, just recently, I lost my job back in March. And just to be real, like, I'm a hustling ass nigga. Like, so I was worried, but I wasn't at the same time because I did have the food truck. I just had to kick the food truck in high gear, but the only way for me to do that was I had to get a little uncomfortable with my situation, so that allowed me to grow. So now, as I say that, I'm looking at a version of myself that's solely depending on me getting up, getting out, and getting it done, like getting on the food truck, being an entrepreneur. So I'm looking at the entrepreneur version of myself. And I wouldn't have seen that if I wouldn't have got uncomfortable, because I was cool with opening up a little bit here and there, making a little bit of extra money to do this, buy some shoes. Because if y'all know me, y'all know the unlicensed therapist loves some shoes. But we have to get uncomfortable. And to be uncomfortable does not necessarily mean you lose your job. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's not financial or anything. Like, it's emotional. You have to get emotionally uncomfortable. You have to get mentally uncomfortable in order for yourself to grow past a stagnant part. And what I say to that is to change over the years to be a different person. As you evolve, as I was saying earlier, you have to get out of your way in a sense, so that you can grow. I think one thing that affected me, and I talk about myself a lot because I want y'all to see that you're not alone. You know, when I had Dwayne on here, you can see that you're not alone. We're not alone in these mental battles. We're not alone in these emotional battles. Like, so I always give myself as an example, because, like I said, I want people to know that I'm dealing with stuff too. And I think she's about to get fired. That's the production team back there. But I think the one thing that really made me okay when I lost my job was the fact that I lost my mom. And it was like, I lost my mom in December of 24. And I stopped worrying. It's crazy to say that, but it was a sense of, I don't know what it is. Like, do I miss her? I miss her deeply. But it's like once that happened, nothing else can really phase you. Like, I lost my job. Okay, I jumped on a food truck and I made it happen because that's the way my mama raised me to be. She raised me to make it happen. And so we gotta look at that. Like, we can't stay comfortable where we're at. Like, I'm not gonna name no names, but I got some friends that I've known for a while, and they entered a chapter in their life. We were all young parents. They had that to do. You know what I'm saying? Be a parent, you know, kids, school, XYZ. But now, as she rolls up on being an empty nester, she finished nursing school and is entering a new chapter in her life. And that's one of those things I was talking about. Like, you have to get uncomfortable. Like, I watched her status and it's like, no sleep here, I gotta do this, gotta study, gotta go to work. She was working a full-time job while going to school. And you look at stuff like that, you gotta get uncomfortable for you to grow. And so it's never too late to do anything. Don't ever think that, but you gotta be able to trust in the Lord, trust in yourself, and get out there and make it happen. And I say all of that to roll back around to the different versions of yourself, because, you know, you think when we're young in high school, let's start with high school, like, that's a version of yourself. Like, you don't really know what life has to life has for you. You're just kind of kicking it, you're chilling. But then if you go to college, now you got a little bit more responsibility. So that's another version of yourself. And then as you become an adult, another version of yourself. And then as you grow, you start seeing that, you know what, I'm not gonna put up with this, I'm not gonna put up with that. And you're evolving, you're growing, and you're looking at it, so it's like, you know, now you got another version. You're shredding, you know, the things that you won't stand for as you're growing. And you know what I'm saying? Now you got another version of it, and that's fine. You can be ever changing. And people are gonna look at you. They're gonna think that you, like, what's going on? I always say, I think we let social media determine the outcome of a lot of people allow social media to determine the outcome of how their life is. And social media is fake. Like, you can't say, oh, I can't do this because this, you know, social media says is this. You got to live your life. You got to do what's best for you. You got to walk your path. And you can't allow anyone to, you know what I'm saying, let anything stop you from doing what's best for you. I think about my mom, right? Like, so, single mom, 2 kids, decent job. But my sister had a version of her, I had a version of her. And that was okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, she made it happen, she taught us a lot. But she had to be like that because she was a single mom. She was raising 2 kids. Like, for me, she had to be hard. She had to be tough. My sister, she was a little soft. She was a little more, you know what I'm saying? But she had to be. She always used to tell me, one day you're going to be bigger than me. So I got to get a handle on you now. Plus, you know, as you get older, society already has it out for you because you're a black man. This is my mom. If you know me, you know my mom was biracial, so my mom was white. But she prepared me to be black male in America. So I always take my hat off to that. She did a fucking excellent job with that. But I think we get so afraid of being uncomfortable. But I want to end this episode with saying, over the last few episodes, I really went over like 3 key points. And if you go over these 3 points, if you use these 3 key points, and apply them, you definitely can see a difference. Self-reflection, self-accountability, and being uncomfortable. So I challenge you guys, my viewers, I challenge you all to get uncomfortable. It's okay to be uncomfortable. When you get uncomfortable, then you'll grow. Thank y'all for tuning in. Unlicensed Therapy with Swerve, the Unlicensed Therapist.